Viewers, is it underway here in India? Has it begun? Is it deeply entrenched already? These are some of the questions. And we are talking about an effort to build a critical mass to discredit the Indian state in the eyes of the public to such an extent that the people will rise up against it. Could the seeds of insurrection that we witnessed in Dhaka be beginning to sprout on Indian soil in a way that they overwhelm the government and other levers of the state? Sporadic attempts, viewers, at paralyzing the state have been witnessed over the last few years, and you know them. The Shaheen Bagh occupation and the protests there, the anti-CA riots, anarchic protests against the farm laws, protests against the lockdown during the height of COVID. Thankfully, all these protests vaporized because their sponsors could not, despite their best efforts, let me tell you viewers, convince a larger section of the population to join their cause. But that was the past. Now the effort to spark mass instability is being dignified not only by shadowy sponsors, but also through loose talk by the political mainstream here, right here in our country, in India, in our parliament, viewers. Rahul Gandhi talked about waging a war on the Indian state a few weeks ago in parliament. And now it is a senior Congress MP suggesting the very same thing. This just can't be a coincidence. Or is it? First listen, viewers.
The BJP and the RSS have captured every single institution of our country. We are now fighting the BJP, the RSS and the Indian state itself.
जब लोग सड़कों पे आ जाएंगे, सिविल डिसोबीडियंस होगी, जब लोग अपने हक पहचानेंगे कि संविधान के नीचे वी द पीपल हम हकदार बनके हम बोलेंगे। ये पहले देश ने देखा है और भविष्य में होगा ये।
I mean, viewers, it's almost as if they're celebrating the possibility of this happening. They want it to happen. They're waiting for it to happen. They're wishing for it to happen, viewers. I've never, ever encountered, viewers, political parties or national leaders almost goading the public into an insurrection, into a mutiny, into a rebellion, call it what you want, into a revolt, call it what you want to, viewers. I'm sure a whole generation of Indians must remember back in the day, in 1975 and the lead up to 1975, the emergency when a large number of protests had started gathering, viewers, and then they at some level attained that critical mass that it takes to overwhelm the state. And Indira Gandhi had to respond with the emergency. I don't know what these people are getting at, viewers, but the talk of insurrection, let me tell you, has alarmed the ruling government as it is gathering pace in India on the back of revelations of regime change fueled in neighboring Bangladesh. One of the central facilitators of the coup in Bangladesh is USAID. It's a shadowy organization that many people in the United States says, viewers, is part of the US State Department, the deep state, and is affiliated to intelligence agencies and all of that. The Trump administration has shut it down, saying it was infested with anarchists, lunatics and radicals from the left. These are his words, not mine. We wouldn't have known had an insider not gone public about what happened in Bangladesh and the role of USAID. We are talking about Mike Benz, who is now assisting Elon Musk to clean up the deep state. And that's the man on the extreme right of your screens, that gentleman there in the tie. And that's Elon Musk, viewer. That's why we put them in the same frame. There's a reason. And Mike Benz has come out and says, let's say it is vital to US national interest to build a military base in Bangladesh to counter China. But the Bangladeshi Prime Minister refuses. Our foreign policy planners then decide that regime change is necessary, all options to destabilize the country. And it's a lengthy exchange. He gave an interview to Tucker Carlson. I think I talked about it yesterday also, viewers, on the show. And he goes into explaining how USAID was roped in and how they paid money to various elements in society, certain minority groups, certain political and sexual and religious minorities were seeded with money, student groups, many, to make one big rainbow, enough critical mass, and then you saw what happened, viewers. The reason we are focusing on USAID on the back of its closure is because it has been funding a number of organizations in India. This is not just about Bangladesh, viewers. Not just a group of anti-CA, anti-Sanatan, anti-farm laws, anti-Waqf, Pegasus exposing so-called investigative journalists and fact-checkers, but also it has been funding Congress members who are very, very, very close to the Gandhi family. For instance, Sam Pitroda. Yes, viewers. Sam Pitroda's NGO acknowledges receiving support from USAID and other organizations. That's the webpage of Global Knowledge Initiative, which is run by Sam Pitroda. And you can see, viewers, he says our supporters, USAID. Now, generally when people say who are our supporters, they mean our funders. I'm not going to make that claim. That claim is being made by many people today, viewers. WikiLeaks has put it out and so forth. Now, viewers, USAID is supporting these organizations and other organizations that the Trump Sarkar has linked to the deep state in America. All of this here in India. Some of those people, after they were outed, have even removed mentions. Who knows? Maybe even this website tomorrow or day after will remove that badge of USAID. The US State Department is right next. Why would viewers, the US State Department be funding Sam Pitroda? And are we to think that that money comes free? Some of Pitroda's colleagues in the NGO, some of the co-founders have been part of USAID and USAID funded initiatives. If there are funds involved or there is a sponsorship of some kind, then there is leverage, viewers. And leverage is what we have to be concerned about, because compromised sections of the media, political class, are a threat to national security. They are pliable. They are hypothecated. Whether for money or other support, I don't know. Remember, Pitroda is the person who organizes meetings for Rahul Gandhi in the United States. Rahul has met with the likes of Ilhan Omar, for example, and other left radicals. Some of them are part of the US government who have been outed, not this one, but the Biden administration. And they've all been outed in the US press as having links to organizations backed by Pakistan ISI, Lashkar-e-Toiba, Falah Insaniyat, so many of these organizations that are also wanting to destabilize India. They're also, these individuals, some of them, linked to the US deep state, like Soros, etc., viewers. Clearly, Pitroda is perhaps not very particular about the company Rahul Gandhi keeps in the United States. Otherwise, why would he allow or maybe even facilitate meetings with people like Ilhan Omar who go to POK and say, I want Azadi for Kashmir? All of this raises troubling questions about the Congress party's eagerness to talk about the spectre of waging war on the Indian state. And it raises these questions, viewers, which I'm going to ask tonight. Is Congress internalizing USAID toolkit for regime change, despite swearing by the constitution of our country? Those are the questions, and we're going to put them on your screen. Is there a link between USAID funds to Sam Pitroda's NGOs and Congress's escalating talk of fighting a war against the Indian state? Has Congress ended up legitimizing civil disobedience by rationalizing it, like viewers, the individuals on your screen have done? Renuka Chaudhary, Rahul Gandhi, many others, Salman Khurshid, many in the Congress, viewers, have come out and said that, oh, what has happened in Bangladesh will happen here, and you see, what can you do about it? Government is such, and the institutions are so compromised that people are getting frustrated. They have to come out, they'll do all of this. So let's open this up, viewers, because these are fundamental questions, and I want to begin with Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow of the IPCS, and Sanjay Jha. I want to bring them into this first up. And I want to begin with you first, Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Some people will say, oh, Rahul Shiv Shankar, this channel, etc., they are joining dots. These are all tenuous links. They have a problem with the Congress party. They are being funded by X, Y, and Z to say all of these things. Is this out of the realm of probability, Abhijit Iyer Mitra?
where is the probability here? It is clear evidence right now. Once we've seen how USAID used to do, it is pack funding. They act like wolf packs. The Omidyars, the George Soroses, the USAID guys, they cross fund each other to hide it. They'll say, well, it wasn't specific to India, but we all know it's a group funding, right? It's collective, precisely to dissolve individual responsibility. So you can claim everybody else is responsible for it, but not you. It diffuses blame, it diffuses accountability, etc., etc. This isn't the first. Remember, there is USAID, Soros, Omidyar, Ford Foundation, etc. funding, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I think ever since they broke up, it's now just called the Gates Foundation funding. That has gone to different bodies in different places, different so-called quote-unquote independent media groups, and so on and so forth. These were all the groups that were defending not just the farmers' protests, but also the Shaheen Bagh protests. Remember, the Congress was very important in that. Vijay Mahajan is a known recipient of this kind of funding. He was the chap heading up the Bharat Todo Yatra, or whatever it was called at that point of time. Why is it that Rahul Gandhi, when he goes abroad, directly calls for foreign intervention in India? He was challenged on it. He repeated it again. So this is out in the open. It is very clear. This, playing musical chairs with the funding doesn't hide the fact now where it was going. Because remember, WikiLeaks has also released a lot of these transcripts showing how they wanted to diffuse the accountability in all of this and claim that they were not going to do it. USAID was set up very, very specifically to do the kind of things that the State Department and the US government were not meant to do. Right? So this is no longer just probability, it is no longer just possibility, it is out in the open and it is quite clear. Let me tell you this, by US laws itself, this now breaches the standard of reasonable doubt. It is beyond reasonable doubt now that it was a collaborative, cooperative effort. Now, did the recipients know they were part of it? Or were they, to use that famous Marxist-Leninist term, a useful idiot? Which, given the current state of the Congress party, is a very high possibility. It's that, I don't know what principle it is. Never attribute to malice what you can to stupidity. I don't know which one it is. But that is, maybe Sanjay can tell us.
Well, Sanjay, unfortunately, has also, got a bit disillusioned by the leadership of the Congress party. I'm sure he probably read the Indian Express editorial a few weeks ago. Even the Indian Express viewers, can you imagine? Even the Indian Express gave a lecture to Rahul Gandhi when he said, I want to fight we're fighting the Indian state. Took his pants off, really, in that editorial. I was quite surprised, but, well, at least it found the gumption to do so, which is great because, someone needs to show the mirror. So Sanjay Jha, I just want to ask you, we're not saying USAID is problematic. It's the Trump government that has shut it down, saying it is packed with lunatics, radicals who believe in regime change. USAID has become a tool in the hands of those that work on the principle of operational deniability. Outsourced to it is all the dirty tricks that the US State Department doesn't want to take on its own plate. And this organization is funding the Congress. The Congress that keeps, well, at least GKI or whatever it is called. And I don't think I need to join the dots between Rahul Gandhi and Sam Pitroda. Rahul Gandhi calls Sam Pitroda his mentor in chief and so on and so forth. I mean, he's on public record to say all of that. And he sits with him in America, etc. They all go to meet Ilhan Umar and all these characters who have nothing nice to say about our country, let alone the government. Forget the government, at least the country. And Sanjay Jha, then you have talk about we are wishing, we are hoping it is going to happen, regime change. No, civil disobedience now will happen. Because you see, the government of the day is some foreign occupying power. The institutions, and I'm not just talking about the executive here, parliament, etc., all some foreign occupying power. So let's overthrow them. Sanjay Jha, has the Congress now begun to legitimize anarchy? It's very simple, mob rule.
Rahul, if you give me equal amount of time that you gave to Abhijit, I think I will make my argument very explicit.
Sure, sir.
I understand why the BJP, Abhijit, and the entire right-wing ecosystem gets very flustered whenever anybody from the opposition talks about challenging the government. Because for them, the government and the ideology of the Sanghs matters much more than the country. As we all know, their entire political business model is to exploit the majority vote for an electoral windfall. They don't even care. They don't even care about anybody in this country. All they want is to win an election. Point number two, I heard Renuka Chaudhary's interview in parts. Renuka happens to be a dear friend of mine. I need to make that public disclosure. What did she say? She talked about a civil disobedience movement as an allegory to making a broader statement that this government is not respecting India's constitution. Anybody who knows the civil disobedience movement will know it was a peaceful movement started by the father of the nation, murdered by, of course, as we know, somebody from the Hindu Mahasabha, and the RSS actually distributed sweets, so we can understand that. But anybody who knows the civil disobedience movement will know that the purpose was to defeat an oppressive, in this case, a colonial power, which was exploiting its own people. Here, the allegory is that an elected government is neglecting a large part of its own population and needs to be challenged peacefully. So for anybody from the BJP to say that this is anti-national, seditious, is being as... Okay, hang on. Rahul, you promised not to interrupt me, so please don't say a word. It can derail my train of thoughts. Kindly have a respectful dialogue. Otherwise, I don't need to...
I only said the word challenge. I never challenged you.
So don't. So let me finish. Don't try and. You know, you are a media guy, so
okay, go on.
We all know how.
Go on, Mr. Jha. Go on, Mr. Jha. Go on.
You're still trying to do it, so don't.
I'm not.
When I say don't say a word, don't say a word.
I'm not.
Good, I like that.
Go ahead.
I like that.
Go ahead. Finish your point.
Yeah. So here is my point.
Yeah.
That I understand why the BJP and the RSS don't understand what the civil disobedience movement is. Because they had nothing to do with the India's freedom struggle. They had nothing to do with the Quit India movement. And I understand they have no understanding of even India's constitution. In fact, some of their stooges went to the Supreme Court to remove the word secular. Now, let me answer your question, because you were showboating Elon Musk. So let me ask you a question. Are you, or is Mr. Mukesh Ambani's channel supporting of the Nazi supporting parties in Germany? That's my question number one. Question number two, are you and is Mr. Mukesh Ambani's channel supportive of the influence of big business in politics? Because that's what Mr. Musk and Mr. Zuckerberg and the others...
Okay, are you done? Because there's been more now. More time you've taken than Abhijit Iyer Mitra. You talked for equal time.
Can I just point
Okay. Great points you are making. Fantastic.
Viewers, last point.
Okay, last
one simple fact.
One second.
Kindly ask the BJP to make a disclosure of all the Chinese companies who have invested in PM Cares.
Okay. Now, viewers, you heard Sanjay Jha at length. My God. What a loquacious man. But viewers, now listen to this. He says, challenges to government. He talked about challenges to government, viewers. He changed the goalposts. No, we're talking about challenges to the state. It's very different. The state is not the government of India. It is one element of it. Very quietly changes, very cleverly changes the goalpost. Then very cleverly, not one word was said about Petroda receiving money from USAID that we are not outing, viewers. This is the beauty of it. It's the American government that has shut it down, saying we're embarrassed by this thing. But viewers, Petroda is not embarrassed by taking money from USAID. Does he know what USAID is about? Has he come out and said, listen, after this entire disclosure that has come out supported with facts, viewers, documents, money trails, that I am returning this money or I am taking them off my website, I denounce USAID. No, viewers, no, nothing. Not one comment. Sanjay Jha didn't answer that question. Sibbal, viewers, came out and contradicted Renuka Chaudhary, who was interviewing and saying, no, listen, that was bahut dur ki baat hai. If you listen to the whole clip, I wish I hadn't cut it actually. I should have brought it. He said, no, let's not talk about all of that. Viewers, He says civil disobedience, challenged peacefully. The Indian state, you see, should be challenged peacefully. Viewers, this is coming from the party that imposed emergency. When some people decided to challenge it peacefully, they threw the entire opposition into jail. And guess what, viewers? They shut down the entire press, barring one or two people. So they want that. And they think that is a peaceful challenge to the Indian state, which is some occupying force.
He is not saying that. Don't
Viewers, civil disobedience is a very serious issue. Okay, it can take on any element. It requires a Mahatma to keep it peaceful. But there are many movements, viewers. You know, the farmers' protest. You saw what they did. They beat police people, black and blue, claiming they were doing it all peacefully. They clambered on top of the Red Fort, viewers, and ripped off the Indian flag, so to speak. They did all sorts of things. You saw that. And the riots in Delhi, all those peaceful students, what did they do, viewers? They ran amok. And those are some of the pictures. That is civil disobedience, viewers. From Jamia all the way to Zakir Nagar, all the way to Zafrabad, they just burnt the city down. People came out with guns pointing them at policemen. IB bureaucrats, bureau officials were dismembered. It's all going on, viewers, in your capital when Trump was visiting. I mean, civil disobedience, viewers. You saw what they did in the Northeast, the CA, etc., etc. I don't want to go down that. None of the questions that were asked, viewers, have been answered in this dissertation. So let me bring in the BJP spokesperson. Forget it. I thought you would at least draw the line at your boss saying, we are waging a war on the Indian state. At least you would bring yourself with your integrity to say that was a foolish statement. And viewers, am I Musk's caretaker? No. Musk is making a disclosure. How do I care? Musk lives in some country under some ruler called Trump, who's going to be meeting our prime minister, viewers. They're going to have a talk. He's been given charge of some Doge department or some whatever it's called. Is he my best friend that I have to sit here and give him say, it's his politics, he deals with it, he's got people he has to answer. If he believes in endorsing Nazis, I don't. What has that got to do with anything in this debate? No, anyway, forget it. Sanjay Jha, you occupied enough time. I just wanted to expose you and the fact that you couldn't bring yourself to answer my question. Let me bring in Ajay Alok. He needs his time also. Don't take equal time as Sanjay Jha will never end this debate. 1 second, Ajay Alok, please respond. Okay. Sanjay Jha, just respond to Sanjay Jha. Respond to Sanjay Jha, Ajay Alok. He says that you guys get very upset when people talk about, public disobedience. You don't like it.
Well, I'm quite disappointed with my friend Sanjay, what he has spoken today, because by just speaking eloquent English, you don't turn the table around. It's absolutely disgusting what Rahul Gandhi said when he said that we are fighting the Indian state, and the same thing was echoed but today by the Renuka. She might be your friend, my dear friend, because in your statement you only said the civil disobedience movement was against the colonial ruler who didn't care for their own people. That means you still believe that the colonial people used to treat India as their own people. This could be your wishful thinking, not ours. Britishers never treated as our own people. And for the first time in the last 10 years, we are out from the clutches of the British mentality, what you are continuously pursuing in your argument. Now, this is a very dangerous trend because leader of opposition has not done this for the first time. He's actually a blot in Indian democracy because he's leader of opposition and he goes to foreign soil and then he asks the foreign intervention in Indian democracy. That's Rahul Gandhi for you. He talks about fighting the Indian state. You dream about having a civil disobedience movement against the government. People coming out on the street creating havoc, riots and everything. That's what you want. The instability and chaos in the India. Is that what is left in the politics for you? Because
Ajay, you have to make one distinction. And I want to ask you this question because it's an important one. You see, people like Dr. Raman, etc. will turn around and say, but USAID also backs certain government schemes. So what's the problem? If, Petroda gets some funding from them or whatever, and the Indian government gets it too. I don't know if this government took it, it might have, but previous have certainly. We also know that one of the USAID principles, let me tell you, pushed Monsanto seeds in India and took Jairam Ramesh to oppose his own government. Petroda, that person was already in league with Petroda at that time. And they were pushing Monsanto seeds, genetically modified seeds, very dangerous ones, viewers. So I want to ask you, how do I make this distinction? Yeah.
The distinction is very clear. No doubt USAID has been working in India with a fund of more than $3.5 billion, what they were using in India, as far as I know. But no government agencies, directly or indirectly, is directly involved with USAID. Now, to close the USAID by the US government and the Trump administration is absolutely their discretion. India is not going to be affected. And neither these $3.5 billion, which were essentially for NGOs like Sam Petroda, and it's good they have closed it. Now, it's for them to come out in the open and say that how these funds were used. Sam Petroda is never going to say that, neither Rahul Gandhi. Was this given to Ilhan Omar? Was this used for the subversive activities in India? Was this used to fund the Kisan Andolan? Was this fund used for Delhi riots? There are a lot of questioning and there are a lot of answers to be given by the Congress party. And today, by openly declaring that we are going to have a civil disobedience movement very soon, you can guess, and the people of this country can guess, what the grand plans and the grand ambitions this party holds when they are not in the power.
So there's a pattern.
We have seen whenever they are losing the grip.
Dr. Raman, there's a
pattern. And the pattern is not new.
Okay,
the pattern
there's
is not new. The pattern is there for the last 5 years, 7 years.
So let me bring what Mr. Ajay Lok is making this point that, well, the CCP pays the Congress, Rajiv Gandhi Foundation some money, Dr. Raman. The State Department, US gives, what's his name, Petroda money or whatever they give him, support. Then they are seeding money among certain journalists here. I don't want to take names. It's not my style to take names, and those people are not here, so I don't even want to take their names. But there's a whole cabal of people, and we know their politics, and we know what they've been saying, and good for them. If they have a view, fair enough. But how do we know, as Ayyar Mitra has said, that they haven't become, useful tools in spreading disinformation? How do we know that for all the funds they receive, they don't gratuitously offer certain services? I don't know. I'm asking. Is it a possibility? Because USAID has been shut down not by our government. We have not kicked it out. It's Trump who's saying this is a problem. It's a dangerous organization.
Rahul, I think we should get all this clarified with a few government departments.
Okay.
USAID works very closely with the Swachh Bharat mission. They've got an MOU signed with the Ministry of Urban Development. They work extremely closely with the Ministry of Agriculture. In fact, they are partners with the National Institute of Agriculture.
We can't hear you. Can you come closer to the mic? Something has gone wrong with your sound. Now it's okay.
Rahul, am I audible now?
Yeah, very. Yes. So you said Swachh Bharat mission. Yeah,
Swachh Bharat mission, they have an MOU with the Ministry of Urban Development. They are partners with the Ministry of Agriculture. One of the divisions of the Ministry of Agriculture is the National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management. And USAID is a partner with them to train, farmers on agricultural practices.
Sure.
They partner with Government of India on HIV/AIDS prevention packages. They've been doing this for the better part of more than 20 years. So I think we should ask all these people these questions instead of asking why are they funding Sam Petroda.
Okay.
Maybe they are trying to destabilize these ministries, which is a bigger concern for me now because these are Government of India ministries, right? I mean, they're not even like public sector undertakings or something. They are actually the ministries.
Right.
And imagine these wicked people from USAID having direct access to the bureaucrats, having direct access to the ministers in these ministries. It's a very worrying situation. I think there has to be an inquiry.
Okay. So that's the point that Dr. Raman made, and that's the question I asked of Ajay Alok. Abhijit Ayyar Mitra, what do you make of this? I know that they were going to sort of bring this up. And it also had struck me, to be honest, that if the USAID...
You should have brought it up.
I did, my dear friend. Did you not hear that I'm the one who brought it up, actually, if you didn't hear me? Right. Anyhow, viewers, let me be honest. These people fund government programs, then they also fund sort of a nebulous assortment of characters. They say they're ambassadors. These journalists are ambassadors, USAID and other people's ambassadors in India. They do it through intermediaries. They do these coaching classes, etc., and how to be better journalists, etc. And all of these people somehow latch on to all the stories that are first really oxygenated in a way abroad. They're incubated there. So, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, the government can't say, the BJP can't say, our money is okay. USAID, when it gives us money, it smells of roses, but when it gives the other people money, it works as some sort of an incentive to do all sorts of subversive activities. Is this this similarity, this analogy that is being drawn? What do you make of it?
So basically what it does, Rahul, is it creates an ecosystem. So you look at this organization, Factshala, which was funded by Internews. Internews, which in turn was given $500 million with a B, not a million. 8,000 journalists doing what? I want you to check out the Internews funded pieces on one certain southern portal and one News Dhobi portal in the north. What are they all about? Spreading nihilism, spreading anarchism. Why? Because then you dip into the entire ecosystem, which then sends you off to Harvard or Yale or whatever for Nieman fellowships and whatever nonsense you get. You then get promoted in the Atlantic. See, these are, they are your appearing. Think of it as the NGO version of the UPSC exam. It depends on how much more virulent you are, how much more, how skillful you are at riling up the audiences, and then keep getting your promotion. And mind you, the really dangerous part in this is some of the right-wing organizations as well. The Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, for example, which is part of the German CDU, the Angela Merkel's party, was actually getting this alt news fellow Pratik Sinha to their conferences and things like that. And this is a NGO that refuses to associate with, say, Rosa Luxemburg Foundation. If you have signed any contract with them, they won't associate with you for 2 years. So this is the kind of ecosystem they built up. That said, Rahul, it's very important. You asked Sanjay a very specific question. He did not answer it specifically. He went on rhetoric. Now, based on his rhetoric, because he asked you about a Nazi party, I want to ask Sanjay. Sanjay, what do you have to say about Stefano Maino, who was Italian with the army group South of the German invasion of Russia, the Nazi invasion of Russia, and was responsible for the Babi Yar massacre outside Kiev, the bayoneting and killing of 30,000 Ukrainians and Jews? And second, who are you referring to as Nazis in Germany? Are you referring to Alice Weidel and the AFD, a lesbian woman in a live-in relationship with a Sri Lankan woman, a dark-skinned Sri Lankan woman? Is that who you're talking about?
Okay, let me answer it very quickly, Rahul, with a very simple answer, actually. You know, since this entire conversation is about who is pro-state and anti-state, the typical BJP conspiracy theory. You do not interrupt me. Do not interrupt me.
Stefano Maino.
Do not interrupt me. I'm
Stefano
answering you.
Maino.
Do not interrupt me. I'm
Stefano
answering
Maino.
you. Please tell me.
Stefano Maino.
Please tell me.
Stefano Maino.
Did India become
Stefano Maino? That isn't the question I asked, Sanjay. I asked about Stefano Maino. Talk about Stefano Maino. Army group.
Okay, gentlemen, one second. Okay, Sanjay Jha, make your point, and I'll bring in Iyer Mitra ji in just 30 seconds. Yeah, make your point. I'll give you 40 seconds or a minute because I don't have all the time. I have to move on to another debate. I just have one more minute. So 30 seconds, you, and 30 seconds, Mr. Mitra.
My answer to his question is that the party that he supports and the ideology that he lives was inspired by the Nazis. Please go and read Golwalkar. The world knows about it.
Okay.
The second point.
No, that's it. I only have 30 seconds. Yes, Iyer Mitra, quick response.
On August
1 second, quick response.
The exact opposite of the Nazi party.
Yeah.
His own party president is the daughter of a member who fought with Nazi troops.
So let me tell you, viewers, why then does if the Congress is so squeaky clean about associations, etc., why does Rahul Gandhi meet Ilhan Omar? Does he know what she stands for? Fundamental question, viewers. And what makes him meet Ilhan Omar? What makes him meet all those people, those wonks from Freedom Index, who get also Freedom House, etc., who get funded by USAID? To write what? To put Singapore above India in the democracy lineup, viewers. Can you believe it? Even China gets a better rating. I mean, there are East European nations with entrenched autocracies that are higher placed. This is Freedom House for you, viewers. Let me see what they do about America now, when they kicked out people. Let's see. Will it be put below India? Let's see, viewers. We'll see. Freedom House. You see, viewers, there is money, there is influence. Is it malign? Is the fundamental question I began with. I leave it to you to make up your minds about that. You heard a lot of people, you've heard people say that the government also gets that money. Government money is actually monitored, viewers, by CNAG, and it doesn't stop people from playing Jekyll and Hyde. They pretend to be good, but they could be greasing palms somewhere else and doing other stuff somewhere else. And if you touch them, then it's an assault on freedom and basic democracy and the rest of it. USAID also funds Freedom House. So, viewers, they control everything, the narrative, the rating agencies, everything. It's amazing. It's amazing, viewers. I want to move on.